And, okay.
Okay, everyone, I'd like to welcome you to this special called meeting. At this time, we'd like to stand and say our pledge. I'd like to ask for Miss Mallory to lead us in the pledge if she would.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, we have some retirees that we would like to recognize.
Yes, we do, and we'll get started, and we want to welcome everybody out today. We just had a walkthrough of the Area Technology Center here just a few minutes ago, and several of the retirees were accompanying us, and we were really appreciative of that. And hopefully here it looks fantastic, and next couple of weeks it'll be amazing what will happen between now and July 23rd when we have our grand opening. But always at this time of year, it's always bittersweet because we're saying goodbye to a lot of our employees that have reached that next highlight of their career, which is, moving into retirement and spending more time with family and friends. And, we're glad that you've been able to make it to this point in your career. But it's also with sadness that you're leaving the school district. And we know that the people in this school district is what makes this school district. We've got fantastic people working in this school district. And anytime you lose the amount of experience that we've lost over the last 2 years, and tonight not only are we honoring this year's retirees, but we're also backing up and honoring last year's retirees, because the pandemic did not allow us to do that. So again, we've got several people here this evening that we want to recognize, and we got several of our principals and other individuals here that's going to maybe say a few words. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a celebrity roast, but if it does a little bit, that's okay too. We're here, we're all family, we're all part of the engineer family, and I want you to know that on behalf of myself as superintendent and on behalf of the Board of Education and all of the students and families that you've impacted over the years of your service, we thank you, and we're very appreciative of what you've done. And I guess we'll start with the central office. And what we're going to do, we won't make everybody come up on the stage, but we'll meet everybody down front. But I guess if we want to, maybe our board members can go down as well and help present. So if, Carrie, if you want to start out, we'll honor our central office first, and we'll let you start out. And Mr. Willis, if you're ready, we'll start their central office, and I think our first person is Mr. Dickey Arthur. And I don't think that Dickey's here. Of course, he retired last year as our DPP, and Dickey didn't make it, I don't think, but we're very appreciative of his years of service, and he'd be disappointed in me if I didn't tell you that if you need anything in hardware or anything along that line, Dick's Tools and More is open in Waco, and he'd love to have you drop by. But we miss Dickey at the central office, and I know that his career was spent entirely here in the Estill County School District. Mr. Tim Burkhart, and I don't think he's made it as well. I didn't see him earlier, but Tim served as not only a classroom teacher in our school district, but he also served as our middle school principal for many years. And in his last several years, he was our transportation director, and we're very appreciative of his many years of service. Miss Felicia Campbell, who was my secretary, and I've not seen Felicia this afternoon as well. Felicia broke in God knows how many superintendents that she babysit. I was the last one. I guess I'm the one that tipped her over the edge. She decided that she had to get out. She couldn't stand the fact when I announced my retirement, she said she wasn't going to babysit somebody else. So she decided to move on last year, and Felicia had a long career, and we miss her at the office very much. Mary Fields, did Mary make it in?
I haven't seen her.
Mary was our adult ed director and been with our district for the last 20 years. And she's retiring from the Estill County school system as our adult ed director. But I believe that she has accepted a job with Thornhill Academy to continue teaching adult ed in Estill County. And it's not a state job. That's a private foundation that's doing adult ed in Estill County now. So Mary's going to be continuing, but her time as an educator in the Estill County school system has come to an end. Miss LaDonna Johnson also worked at our central office in payroll. And LaDonna and Felicia, they were partners in crime. They worked together very closely every day. And Peggy, you're the last of the three amigos back there. And let's say a big thank you to Peggy today for the punch and the cookies. She put all that together. And Peggy said she's not retiring anytime soon, so I hope that to be the case. She said she'd rather stay with us and be at the house. So somebody's got to take care of Margaret too, and she takes care of Margaret every day. But LaDonna, we're very appreciative of LaDonna. And LaDonna and Felicia both come back in from time to time, and they're helping us transition as we move forward with new people in our payroll and as our secretary to the superintendent and HR. So really appreciative of Miss LaDonna's service. Miss Lisa Reese. Lisa retired last October. Not last October, but October before. No, it was this past October, wasn't it? Yeah, Lisa retired this past October. I'm trying to get her out of here for 2 years. And Lisa was the first person I hired into the central office when I became superintendent. She'd worked at South Irvin in the preschool program over there, and she was our federal funds director at a time, but she was a teacher in our school district for many years, and then of course was our preschool director and federal funds director the last several years. And Lisa retired for one simple reason: she's got a grandbaby she's taking care of every day, I believe. So we really appreciate her service. Miss Margaret Snowden was our special ed director. I think this is saying something about me. I've run off all these central office people, haven't I? Am I difficult to work for? No, these people, I hope that's not the case, at the very least. But Miss Margaret Snowden was our special ed director, and Margaret was our special ed director for many years. She actually, 2 years ago, announced her retirement, and then she decided to stay on a couple of additional years. And Margaret did a fantastic job with our special needs kids, and I've not seen her today as well. Finally, we've got somebody that showed up, Mr. Chris Winkler. And if Chris would come forward. Yeah, evidently, man.
I told Tim he didn't have to mow my grass.
I love you. I'm glad you're here. But Chris Chris, of course, served in many different roles in our school district, but while I've been here, of course, he became the assistant principal at Estill County High School the first year I was here. And within just a few short months, he was named the principal of Estill County High School, where he stayed until he decided to become the Success Academy principal and the full-time athletic director in our district. And I think when his wife started talking about retirement, I think it helped Chris make his decision as well. I think that you're both retired now, aren't you? Or she's close, or?
Well, we're both retired, but she's going back to work for the Southeast South Central Co-op. And I'm going to the boat store to look for a bigger boat.
Well, that's good.
But Chris has a very important job at Williams Memorial, and he has a great ministry there and helps so many people in the community. So,
Yeah, and I know when we were suffering through crisis this past spring, Chris was right there. When Coach Crow passed away, he was right there for our staff members at the middle school and high school, and he came out. And there's nothing better to have a common voice and to listen to Chris pray. You know it's sincere. You know that the good man above is listening, and I appreciate that. And I've come to know Chris really well over my 6 years here, and I appreciate what he's done for our school district, what he's done for our kids. And you've left a lifelong legacy, Chris, of service to the Estill County School District, and for that we thank you.
I appreciate it.
And I think our last one is Miss Connie Witt, and I didn't see Connie.
she called me before I came, and her father just had a heart cath, and he's in Central Baptist. She said she would love to be here, but due to the circumstances, she could not, and she just asked for continued prayers for her dad.
And we need to continue to do that. A lot of people didn't realize that Connie was still a part of our school district. She was just on MOA to the Kentucky Department of Education. And I think it was last fall is when Connie ended up retiring. And we're very appreciative of her service. Carrie, I got you to go all the way down there for one person. But we won't tell everybody, but Chris was the best. He was here.
And he will always be Mr. Winkler to me,
Yeah.
or Wink. I can't get into calling him Chris, but I had him in school. My mother, taught with him, and just Mr. Winkler was always a great teacher, and my children loved him also. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. And Tammy, if you want to go down with transportation, I'll get Mr. Willis and Miss Laura to come up. Miss Laura's going to do it. Mr. Willis is going to bow out. See, he left transportation in time. Yeah. Miss Laura at Freeman is our new transportation director, and she took over here this spring. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Miss Laura. The mic is behind you. No, they've got to hear you on YouTube. You are now a TV star.
Okay, so I've had the pleasure to work with.
Yes.
Hello? So I've had the pleasure to work with each of these individuals, and they're terrific. Kay has actually came back to help us out this year. She didn't stay retired long. But we are also thankful for our bus drivers, and we appreciate them so much. And I'm going to miss y'all. So, first is Lisa Barnes. She was one of our bus aides. Miss Kay Hudson. There's four.
If everybody would just stay up front and we'll get a picture of all of you at once. Did you get a picture of Mr. Winkler? Okay, I want to grow a garden next spring. I need one.
Mr. Charlie Lancaster, which he's not here. And then Mr. Hyman Riddle. As you, Santa Claus. We got him Santa.
Guys, if y'all don't care, come down to the middle there and they'll get you a picture.
I've tried to talk him into coming back, but it's not worked yet.
Congratulations and thank you for everything.
Miss Hardy, get in there with me.
We're okay.
Stand next to each other.
Oh, we
Miss Carrie, did you get a picture?
I don't know, we'll do it.
Come back up, let's get a picture of you, Miss Smallwood. Come on now, we need, bring your clock.
Happy this for you, never seen tomato.
Now, my wife grows the tomatoes. Thank you all. Now we'll have Miss Belinda Puckett. She'll come up and we'll honor our food service retirees.
Come on, Miss Sheila.
Sheila, if you want to, if you'll go down with me. Huh? Well, you might want to say a few words about them so that we'll have it on.
Going down there?
We'll have record and we'll get you on camera.
I'll just stay here.
We had 3 retirees. Emily Trapp, she taught here at the high school, and she didn't teach, she cooked, 26 years. And she had medical reasons, and so she had to retire, and she now resides in Georgia with her family. Debbie Roberts was at Estill Springs, and Jeannie Walters at Estill Springs. I know Jeannie had 17, and Debbie, I think, had 20. I can't remember. I know that's terrible. All 3 of those ladies were excellent cooks and loved their jobs and cared about the students of Estill County. So they're greatly missed as well. So thank you.
And I will say this, even though some of our personnel, they did not actually hold a teaching job, I'll always remember what Dr. Stephen Pruitt said when he visited us as the Commissioner of Education. He said to remember that we are all teachers. We all have an impact on the lives of our students, whether we're the bus driver and the bus monitor that picks that child up the first thing every morning at 6:15 a.m., or the lunchroom lady or the cook that's preparing breakfast and meets them in the lunch line, our teachers, our principals, our instructional assistants that work with our kids in the classroom, everybody in the central office, everybody that works in the front office of all of our schools. Each and every one of us are teachers, and we have a direct impact on the lives of our kids. So we want you to know that we're all one big family, and we've got one goal in mind, and that's to make sure that all of our kids are successful. So we're really appreciative of everyone that in our school system. Now for Estill County High School, and I think we are doing this by committee, I believe. Mr. Yost told me today. So I think we got Miss Sarah. Sarah's going first, and Sheila, now if you want to, you can.
I can go stand with one of my former students.
That'll be good.
Yes, that's what I thought. So when Mr. Yost asked me to speak tonight, I was really honored because a lot of these faces that are retiring, you poured into me as a student, and I'm not the best, but you know, I'm here and I'm pouring into our students just like you poured into me. And Miss Amy Farmer is a godsend, a Proverbs 31 teacher who just really teaches with heart and has poured into our community, and so we want to honor Miss Farmer. And then, oh.
Nice try.
And then I was also asked to present Miss Teresa Adams, which she is not here today, but I cannot speak more highly of her work ethic and how hard she worked for our students each and every day. So we want to represent her as well.
Thank you, Sarah. Now Ms. Flynn is going to handle the rest. Thank you for being here.
All right, you know I'm an English teacher, so I had to write it down. So when Mr. Yost asked me to speak about these two very special women who are retiring, I felt very honored. He told me that it was actually my son-in-law, Austin, who suggested me, so I will deal with Austin later. This may not be what Josh wanted, but since he is at the beach and I am here, this is what you get. I taught at ECHS for 28 years. Most of those years were spent alongside Catherine Stewart and Jennifer Wiseman. When Blaine took over as principal, he brought with him the mentality of a family. He had a saying that he used often: "We are Estill." Yes, you were right, it came from the movie Marshall. The connotation is that we are family, and together we can overcome anything that happens to us or to our student body. This saying became our mantra. To us, "We are Estill" meant we are family. Although our focus was on academics, it was our intention to make every student know that they were loved, valued, and that they mattered. These two women epitomize the family atmosphere at Estill County High School. There are a few activities each year that high school students look forward to: homecoming, districts, and prom, to name a few. Catherine Stewart went above and beyond to make sure students knew that she enjoyed her job and loved everyone. Each year, she would decorate her hall and participate in every dress-up day that we had during homecoming. Throughout the year, she would cook and decorate her bulletin board for every team that had events going on. From band competition to cheerleading to archery, Catherine and her cohorts recognized all of the hard work and accomplishments of our student body. As students would walk by her room, she would be outside the door smiling and wishing them good luck or giving them congratulations. She did not forget the faculty either. Every Christmas, her students would make ornaments and cook for all the staff. She would decorate her room and invite all of us to come by and eat. It was something that we looked forward to each year. If Catherine saw a need, she jumped in and did whatever was necessary to help, whether it was with a student or another faculty member. Her room was often a safe haven for hurting or lonely students. She allowed them to help her students, and soon their own difficulties would seem much smaller when they walked out of her class. Catherine loved her job, and it showed. I know that she will be missed. Jennifer Wiseman was my next-door neighbor in what we called the penthouse at Estill County High School for 22 years. This was our term of endearment for the lonely corner at the top of the school. We knew when we saw someone headed our way that they needed us to do something. No one visited the penthouse just to say hello. Jennifer truly has a servant's heart. She and I gained the luxurious title of Students Activities Coordinator, when we agreed to do it, there was a small monetary bonus. But as often happens, eventually the money disappeared, but the job did not. She continued to serve our students. Together we organized homecoming, the flower funds, boss days, secretary days, pep rallies, prom fashion shows, worked countless ball games, and rode pep buses to the end of the world and back. We organized countless field days and rewards for the hard work and high test scores that came as a result of the ever-present mantra, "We are Estill." I've watched Jennifer give silently throughout her time at ECHS. She took students to get senior portraits, tooth cleanings, tuxedos, and dresses for prom. She took them groceries, paid their electric bills, and even cared for their parents. She wanted them to know that she cared, and she gave generously. Both of these women have shed tears of joy watching that special student finally walk across the stage, and they've cried those same tears sitting in hospital waiting rooms praying for students in surgery. I hope I've given you just a glimpse into the wonderful teaching careers of these two women. They made a huge impact on the students of Estill County. Their influence will never be forgotten. Congratulations, ladies, and thank you for all you did for ECHS.
If you'll come forward, ladies, thank you. Thank you, Miss Gina Flynn. Y'all get a picture. Everybody, all four of you, Miss Gina, come on.
Gina and Greg have got two of those girls married off now.
I know that for Success Academy, Miss Susie Hall is our retiree from the Success Academy. I know that she's not here, and I think Austin, as you said, is on vacation, so. He's home watching? Oh, okay. Shout out to Austin at home watching the baby. And, but we appreciate Miss Hall for her many years of service to our school district as well. So I guess next will be Miss Andrea Williams. And Miss Tucker, if you want to come up as well, thank you. Yeah.
First, we would just like to congratulate all of our retirees and tell you we're a little bit jealous of you sitting there while we're not ready to retire yet. But we appreciate all of your hard work and your service for our district and to our kids. I have two ladies to recognize tonight. The first one is Miss Kathy Cheney. And Miss Kathy had a shadow for the years that she was in our building, and you didn't see Kathy, okay. You didn't see Kathy without her shadow for the last 2 years that she was there. She loved all of the kids in that building, and she did anything that we asked Kathy to do. She was always filling in and watching out for those babies. So Kathy, we appreciate all of your years of service and your hard work for our district. Yes, can we do both of them together? Okay. The next one is Miss Young. There she is. Samantha wore many, many hats in our building, and I don't really have the time to tell you all the hats that she wore, but a few were. She was in charge of our Chromebooks. She taught 3 art classes. She was our librarian. If there was a book that we needed, we would call her, see if she could find it for us. She ordered all those. She was in charge of getting her book fair together. So no wonder she was ready to retire, because I can't count all of the jobs that Samantha had to do within our building. I hope that she enjoys retirement, and she will also be greatly missed in our building. Thank you, Ms. Young, for all of your service.
So is it fair to say, Andrea, you're the one that ran her off? It wasn't me?
Probably fair
Okay.
to say that.
All right.
Probably fair.
Miss Young's mother was my bus driver for years and years.
All right, come on, ladies, let's get our pictures real quick.
Samantha was one of my daughter's teachers too.
Yeah.
Miss Donna, if you want to go down for the next presentation. And moving right along, we'll have Miss Charlotte Arvin come forward.
Well, we are losing 3 of our family members at West Irvin. 2 of them have actually been retired for the entire COVID year. So first I want to tell you about Miss Marilyn Rodgers. If you have not had the chance to work with Miss Marilyn Rodgers, you sure did miss out on a blessing. She is one of those folks that just never had to wait to hear a need of a student. She just identified it and found a way to take care of it for that child. We've talked about teachers that take care of families. She's also that kind of teacher. Now, the other kind of teacher she is the teacher that helps take care of the principal. And she was fantastic at that. She was always just saying, oh, I think we need to do this, or let's take care of that. And she just made a difference in our school family. So she isn't here with us tonight, but I hope she's listening, and I hope she feels the prayers and the good wishes that we're sending her way. So please, let's give a round of applause to Miss Marilyn and all of her hard work. The second person that I want to recognize is Miss Lois Crow. She didn't get to be here with us either. That woman has done so much for so many students. She worked as a paraeducator, I believe her entire career, worked with students with disabilities, and met some of the most severe needs that we have in our district, and made sure that it was done with a kind heart and a hug and good food. She was a fantastic cook and took care of all of our stomachs at West Irvin. She is greatly missed, and I hope you will join me in giving her some recognition and a round of applause. The last person that we have to recognize is one that I do not want to say goodbye to. I do hope she'll come by and visit. She is also a good cook. Maybe bring us some banana pudding or something like that. But in all seriousness, Miss Kathy Hall has worked with me for many years. We worked at Old West before New West was a building. We worked together in the construction of New West. I am not a crier, but I could probably cry because she has just done so much. Anybody that thinks a custodian is just a custodian, so wrong. A custodian should mean something very high level because she is a problem solver, takes care of so many things. During COVID, when we were trying to figure out how do we get things to kids in an organized way, it sure wasn't me that came up with the plan. It was Kathy. When we needed to make sure the building was extra clean, it was Kathy. And on a lighter note, it's Kathy that dives in the dumpster to get the retainers for the children so their parents don't have to buy new ones. She just does so many things. She made me promise I wouldn't stand up here and say all of it. So I'm just going to ask her to come on up and let me give her a hug and ask for you all to join me in recognizing all of her hard work.
Miss Donna, you get up there and have a picture with them. And guys, let me say one thing as a testament to what those custodians do at West Irvin. I don't know the last time you was in West Irvin, but it looked like it opened yesterday. That building is spick and span. It looks brand new. They have done a fantastic job over there taking that building. People can't believe that building's been there now 7, 8 years now, I think it is. And they just can't believe it. It's because of the hard work of those custodians over there in that building, and she'll be greatly missed. And as we said earlier, not just a custodian, a teacher each and every day for what they do for our kids. Moving right along, we have Estill Springs Elementary. Yeah, if you don't care. Miss Brooke is here today to honor our retirees. Thank you.
On behalf of the Estill Springs faculty and staff and Principal Jessica Mullins, I have 5 ladies and wonderful educators that I want to honor tonight. 2 of them are here tonight, so I'm going to save those best ladies for last. First, we have Carolyn Neal. Carolyn Neal served 12 years in the Estill County School District. She first came to Estill Springs as a volunteer when her son was a student. She was an efficient worker, who was eager to help in any way she could. She would immediately complete a task and be ready for another. Her willingness to help was a trait that carried her through as her career as a paraeducator. Carolyn was an asset to each kindergarten teacher she worked with. She was an extension of the classroom and helped each student to grow academically, emotionally, and socially. We appreciate Carolyn's service to the Estill County school system, and we wish her all the best of luck and health in retirement. Next, we have Libby Wilson. Libby served 14 years in the Estill County school system. Libby's gentle and humble demeanor, partnered with her mastery of academics, created the perfect kindergarten environment. Libby had the ability to meet each child where they were at and help them grow and mature. She built a foundation for each child that set them on the road to success, both academically and socially. She was a powerful member of the kindergarten team, and we definitely miss her. We wish her happiness and health as she enjoys her retirement. Next, we have Jenny Lou Woolry. I wish Jenny Lou was here tonight for me to hug her neck. She served the students of Estill Springs Elementary for 30 years. She's been a warrior, a bulldog, and an engineer. The mascots may have changed, but one thing has been consistent, and that is Jenny Lou's commitment to student learning. Jenny Lou rarely ever missed a day of school. She was passionate about seeing her students grow academically. She empowered each student to work hard and provided a structured environment that most certainly made students feel confident in their learning. We're happy that Jenny Lou has begun subbing in our school, and we appreciate her continued commitment to the Estill County school system. Happy retirement, Jenny Lou, and I hope that you will help me give a round of applause to those three ladies. Next, I have Miss Noreen Larmer. Noreen served 15 years in the Estill County school system with an air of humility and grace. Noreen's heart and her love for serving others was a lifeline that impacted our school on a daily basis. She was always willing to lend a helping hand wherever it was needed, and did so with a grateful and giving heart. She went above and beyond to prepare our students for academic success, and was committed to provide what each individual student needed to be successful. Her presence is definitely missed within our school, and we strive daily to serve each other with the same kind heart that Noreen exhibited. Happy retirement, Noreen.
Come on down, Noreen. And just wait on us and we'll get a picture all together.
This one might get me. I'm going to have to take a deep breath for this one. All right. When you speak of Elizabeth Hughes and her 33 years of service to the Estill County school system, you can interchange her name with the word legend. Get me. Miss E has impacted more students and co-workers than she will ever realize. Her excitement to begin each school year is unparalleled. If you ever visited her classroom, you'll know what I mean. Her commitment to learning is unmatched. There was not an academic gap that she could not meet. There was no child who felt unloved or unimportant in her presence. She created a classroom environment that made each child feel special. Her retirement has left a definite void in our school, but her legacy lives on, and we see her fingerprints and impact in her coworkers. We have student teachers, we have her students now teaching with us that remain. I can speak as a teacher who considered Miss E a mentor, and as a mama whose child got to sit in one of those seats and feel oh so important. We are so blessed to know you, and we wish you the best in retirement. Miss E.
Either one I'm here. Mr. Willis, I believe, is going to honor our South Urban retirees.
Yes, so somehow all of our principals are on vacation this week. So, but good for them. Kudos to them. They deserve that. South Urban has 2 retirees, and unless they've came in since I've been sitting here, they're not here, but I still like to speak about them. The first one is Miss Marilyn Goosey. She was a paraeducator at South Urban Early Learning Center. I've been around cattle, and I've been around preschool students, and sometimes you have to treat them both the same way. You got to have a low voice, and you got to move slow, and you got to be comforting to them. You don't use neither when you're dealing with preschoolers or cattle. You don't do jerky movements or charge at them. And Marilyn Goosey was amazing. She had such a kind heart. The love that she shared with her students was felt within the classroom. She was comforting. Her voice was so soothing. She had the power to talk to a student that was upset and calm them immediately. She had that demeanor about her. Just a wonderful soul that was very calm and calmed many of preschoolers in that environment when I was at South Urban. Our second retiree is Jennifer Palmer. She is another amazing teacher in our district. Jennifer taught many, many years at South Urban. She had many students go through her classroom. To this day, many of her former students still text her and FaceTime her, either as a reward or when they're being bad. Depends on the situation. So I know to this day, there are students that she's had in her past that she will read to them through FaceTime when they're going to sleep, or if they're upset, their parents will say, maybe you just need to talk to Miss Palmer. And I can honestly say that Miss Palmer lost many nights having a hard time sleeping, as good educators do, because you don't turn it off at 3 o'clock. So, but I am honored by all of you that are here and what you do for our community and for our students, and just not that, the world. The impacts that you have made on lives, we'll never fully comprehend that. It's just huge, it's massive, and I appreciate all of you that are here tonight and those that were unable to be here tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Willis, thank you for those kind words. And first, I'm going to start by a disclaimer. None of us have any type of prearrangement for you to return to work, but just know that after 90 days, if you get to the point that you've done all the housework you can stand, or you've cut your yard for the last time, and you want to return to work and you want to come visit or you want to volunteer, we want you to know that the doors of our schools and our school system, they're always open for you. And we want you to come back and visit. And we want you to be a part of this family, as Ms. Flynn talked about, because it is a family. No matter how many years you've been here, once you're here, you'll come to find out what a special place that Estill County is. I've never lived in a better place in my entire life. And I come from Harlan County. That's saying a lot. So I just know that this is a special place. We want you to be a part of this. I started out, I've asked all of our former superintendents, don't ever come by that office without coming in and saying hello and dropping in and speaking to everybody. And we want you to remain a part of this school district for as many years and in whatever capacity you want to. And I know the board appreciates everything you've done in your efforts.
Actually, Kay Hudson signed a contract to come back next year as a full-time bus driver. So she retired and came back.
He caught her in the hallway. I saw it happening.
Signed a contract.
Well, we appreciate everybody and thank you. And
Charlotte, I tried to recruit Miss Kathy to clean the ATC. Well, like Mr. Saylor said, we truly, from the bottom of our heart, appreciate each and every one of you and your contributions. And we have a saying, just like Gina said, we are family, but once an engineer, always an engineer. So we'll move on. With that being said, Mr. Saylor,
I think we're ready
I think we're ready to announce our new student rep.
Well, let's start by thanking Miss Summer Evans for her participation during the last year and a half. It was always sort of our intention that this would happen during your junior year and that we would be able to transition each year to a new junior representative to the board. And then, of course, COVID hit, and it sort of changed our plans, and Miss Summer got knocked out of a lot of time with us in terms of participating with our board, and until recently, she was just able to come back. She did a fantastic job while she was here, and we were very appreciative of her time with the board. And we have a little something for Summer, and we'll make sure to get that to her. But tonight, we would like to recognize our new student representative. And these are the words of Mr. Josh Yost, our principal, and I'll read this at this time. He wanted everybody to know that our new student representative is Mallory York. And Mallory, if you'd come on and come forward. And I tell you what, for the rest of the meeting, if you want to, we'll let you come up and you can sit up here and you can get a feel of what it's like. And Mallory is a rising senior in the class of 2022 at ECHS. She is the current class president and also serves as the student council president. Mallory was selected as a member of the Rodgers Scholars Program, a prestigious honor for high school sophomores, and has been involved in numerous school clubs, including Beta, Green Dot, SLIP, and served as the vice president of the Future Business Leaders of America. Mallory has also been involved with the 4-H program for over 6 years. She's a standout member of the ECHS volleyball team, and we are proud to have her serve as the ECHS student representative to the Board of Education for the 21-22 school year, and we know she will do a great job representing all of our engineer students. So Mallory, as superintendent, I want to welcome you to our board, and I know I speak for our board members, and they will tell you as well that we're glad to have you as our new student representative for this coming school year.
Thank you.
And if you got the same thing.
I'm super. Is mine on? I'm new to this.
There you go. And that right there is your agenda and stuff, and we'll have that every month when you come. Awesome. And we'll get you hooked up on the computer. But it's on your desk.
Okay. I'm Mallory, and I am the new student representative. I'm so honored and thrilled to even be able to be here tonight. So I'm very excited for this experience.
Thank you very much, Mallory, and we're glad to have you.
Okay. There was a sign-in sheet somewhere. That's on our agenda if anybody wanted to sign in.
I think it's out front if everybody wants to sign in. And remind them, Miss Williams, remind them to take cookies with them and drink all that punch as they go. Thank you.
So we're moving right along. We're down to our facilities and construction update. And first on the agenda, we have our Area Technology Center.
Jeremy, if you'll come forward, there's a mic right there. As everybody knows, we just did a walkthrough of the Area Technology Center, and I don't know if you all have any questions as a board. Jeremy can give us an update of where we're at as we move towards July the 23rd, and the building will be ready.
So everybody got a chance to look at it today, which is great. You can see the progress we've made over the past month. I think that's been about a month since you all walked it. So a lot of progress there, and something that we was able to obtain on Friday was our temporary CO. So that's a huge milestone in the construction when you get your temporary CO, and what that stands for is your certificate of occupancy. If y'all didn't know that, so that was huge. If we wanted to, you all could start moving in your personnel, but obviously we're holding off on that. So right now, we're working through punch list items, and once you get to the punch list items at the end of the project, is pretty much means it's wrapping up. So it's, I compare it to like your home. You're going through making sure everything's tidy, looks good, your interiors looks good. So that's where we're at right now. Now, as far as the outside, there's a lot of work to get done out there, but we are confident that we are going to meet that July 23rd date. Actually, before the July 23rd date, and everything's going to look great for the governor when he gets here, and that's huge for us to get to that point. I know Mr. Saylor has expressed his concerns, and it is, if you look at it, it's a lot to take in. There's a lot to do, but I can assure you that we will meet that, and we have no problem meeting that date. So the Pedway Tower, like Mr. Saylor said when we was walking, it is lagging probably about a week, but we're starting to drop ceiling tiles tomorrow. We're starting the AC units tomorrow. Let it get acclimated, and then at the end of the week, our flooring guys are going to come in and lay the flooring. So that's kind of the breakdown where we're at in the project. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Tough ones also, I can answer anything.
This will be a tough one.
All right.
The lab with the cracks in the floor.
Yeah, so we do have a lab with cracks in the floor. It's the Advanced Manufacturing Lab. And the way concrete works, it's slab on deck, that is, and the reason why there's no control joints that you see is when you do slab on deck, you do not do control joints because it hurts the integrity of the concrete. You do that slab on grade. Peter knows about it. His team knows about it. They're looking into it. If there's anything that can be done, when we talked about it earlier in the project, going clear coat versus stained concrete like we have. We thought the stained concrete was going to make it look immaculate. Obviously, that's not the case right now. So we are concerned about it also. We are looking into what to do. So Peter can speak more on that if you want. But that's where we're at right now. But we are concerned like you are. I know that.
Okay.
So.
I would say that it's not structural.
It is not.
It's more aesthetic than it is a structural
but
concern.
But it's that beautiful building.
Yeah.
And it should be immaculate.
Yep. I agree.
There should not be cracks.
We have had several conversations along that line. I basically had a meltdown last week on a couple of things, and I do feel the pressure. I want, when the governor walks in here, and our legislative leaders walk in here, we want a pristine building, and I know that's what our citizens expect.
Exactly, for their tax dollars.
So we're not going to rest on those issues. We will figure out what they are and what the solutions are. We've got a good design team, and we've got a good construction manager, and I think we can come up with some solutions that we can live with.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else you all seen that you questions on? No?
I can tell you, I was in the Pedway Tower yesterday afternoon at about 5:30, and there's been a lot of work over there. They're cleaning it out, and I know that it's a little bit behind. I didn't want to take y'all over there today. It's a little bit dusty and dirty, but the paint is in, the ceiling grids are in. It appears that the sheetrock walls, they're up, the gyp board's up, all those things. Paint is going on the walls. So it is coming along, and I think getting the air units up is what's the key to getting the floor down.
Yep.
And they're supposed to finish up concrete here Friday at the ATC and move down next week. So everything around the Pedway Tower will be done by next Friday.
Yes, so tomorrow we're hoping to wrap up the concrete around the ATC area A and B, and then we'll jump down to the Pedway Tower. There's a ramp and some concrete that has to go in down there, and we'll be wrapping it up, forming it. Now, as far as sod, I've been told that the south side, we're getting it prepped right now, that by Monday is what we're targeting to get the sod down. So you'll start to see grass coming in. So hopefully that takes some, gives you some relief there. but
So y'all
it's
know the
starting.
sod is going around the building. I think then the hydroseed and parts. it's
Yeah, parts that are grass and dirt will.
The hillside areas
Yep,
and stuff
correct.
like that.
That's correct. So yeah, in the next month, you all should see a lot of changes from now to then.
And Jeremy, if you don't care, whoever is doing the hydroseeding, we need to have a discussion with them, or at least I do. I need to be put in contact with them. The area that was cleaned up in front of the building is ready to be seeded as well, and I'd like to talk to them about getting that hydroseeded as well.
Okay.
I know that we'll have to wait on the gravel part of that
Right.
lot and all that stuff you plan on moving by the time the governor gets here and moving it over to the other area, correct?
Correct.
But we can hydroseed what's there. We'll be able to mow that now that it's been cut down. It looks fantastic, getting all that out of there, so.
Great view, yeah.
They're confident. That's what we hired Codell for.
Right.
And Kenny and Jeremy know that we expect them to deliver. And I know that they're working hard to make sure that that happens.
Yep. You may stay here for change orders.
Yeah, if you don't care,
Okay.
you ready to skip down change orders?
Yeah,
And
We'll move on to change orders.
So this packet included PR 31 and 32. Mr. Saylor thought it was a great idea, and I did too, that the middle school teacher parking gets a mill and overlay. That way everything looks new up top. And then at the entrance, in the construction entrance coming in, there's a lot of hairline cracks and spider cracks happening. So from that trench drain up, as you come in, you'll actually get new surfacing there, and they'll bring it all together and make it look really good. So I think both of those, did you already go through the?
yeah, both of those are on there, and there's some different sidewalks. We ended up redoing all the sidewalks in front of the building. We had an old section of sidewalk we were trying to keep. We just felt like there's no need to keep an old section of sidewalk and try to match it up with new. So that was one of our change orders as well. There's also a change order for some of the flooring. There was a moisture issue in the health science lab. The slab retained too much moisture, which required new, a different type of adhesive in order for that flooring to make sure that it did not come up. It was a $7,000 change order, which of course originally it was more than that, but they worked with us to get the price down.
It was about 9, I believe.
And then in the pedway tower, there was several areas where there was not head walls for the grid to be placed upon, and some of those that was like a $3,000 change order. It's the little things you get to the end that, if you all remember, the pedway really dragged behind the rest of the building, not the construction itself, but in the design phase, because really and truly we didn't know we were going to have to do the pedway. So we did not have final details on that pedway until the very end when the bids come in and we were able to accept that alternate. So there was a few little things there that has been taken a little bit, but all of these change orders, and I think this gets us up to date, except for the flooring.
This gets us up to date. I will mention that there's a PR 30. It's a deduct, though. You'll be getting money back for your engineering signage.
Yeah, for the letters that was on the pedway that was going to go on the wall. I just went ahead and requested basically a deductive change order for those. We thought about relocating them, but they were also $8,000 for those letters, and I felt like that was probably.
Yeah, it's good. We caught it in time. I don't think they were in manufacture.
Yeah, they hadn't been manufactured, so we should get back. I guess there'll be a little bit of markup from that where those general contractors and stuff, how that goes, but we'll get the majority of that $8,000 back, which I think is probably the right move. So,
And then the sidewalks to connect the ATC to the high school will actually be in the high school project.
Correct.
And Peter, you are going to check that in the plans to make sure. I know that originally the buildings were connected by those front sidewalks. I don't know if when the pedway went in, that those got somehow deleted, but we know that there's got to be sidewalks, and if that is the case, we'll come right back with a change order on the high school project, because we'd already talked about sidewalk and steps off the back of the tech center down into the student parking lot behind the high school as well. Whole ideal is that when we have huge events, we're going to need to be able to use these parking lots, and people are going to need to be able to access either building, whether it's an event at the middle school where people need to walk up those sidewalks, or whether we're having an event at the high school. So we need to make sure that we have access, proper access for everyone in order to do that. So they'll get back with us, and I'll let you know on those guys how that turns out. But I think, Ms. Isford, what we can do here is we can have one motion to approve all of these change orders. And again, the only issue left out there now is the flooring and how we deal with that.
Okay.
So that's my recommendation, to approve those change orders.
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve the change orders as mentioned?
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Sheila Samples makes a motion. Do we have a second? Tammy Hardy makes a second. So I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
So we're moving on to the bus garage, and this is our final update on the bus garage. So come on up and tell us about it, Peter. Bye, Jeremy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy, for everything. I'll see you maybe Thursday afternoon.
So yeah, the bus garage, I was there today. A lot has been happening over the last few weeks, the last month, to get the project over the finish line. And so we've been very impressed and happy with the project sort of closing out. I do feel like we're going to probably have a meeting walkthrough with Mr. Saylor and the contractor here in a couple of weeks, just to make sure that everything is in line. And but we are confident that the project is ready to close out. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Is the gate issue solved?
You know, I was there today, and I saw it working the way it was supposed to work. I saw it open and I saw it close. So I think there is a delay in the sensors working the gate, and sometimes people may think that there may be an issue. They're waiting for it to work.
Just a relay.
It just I think that there's a safety delay to make sure that the cars are clear. So,
Thank you.
but we'll keep a monitor on that. Above and beyond, the installation of the gate is just the contractor is on the hook for a year. If there are any issues, they'll be back to fix it.
Thank you.
So you all know the pressure washer is in and operational.
Yes.
The lights have been installed over the fuel pumping station so that drivers won't be pumping fuel in the dark. The bus plug situation has been corrected. We have had an issue with water and a discoloration in the water, and they have diligently searched for that. We have found the problem, and I believe that the contractor's in line to get that fixed. So I feel like that Standing for Construction, they've honored their end of the bargain, so we don't have to worry about anything along that line. But I did ask Peter, we want to do a walkthrough with Peter, myself, and John Stanford to just walk through and just make sure that every little detail is right. So we're going to ask for an improvement on payment apps 15 and 16 here in just a minute. Pay app 16 is the final closeout. We'll go ahead and prove that payment so Angie can prepare the check, but that check will not be delivered into him until we do that walkthrough. And we're planning on doing that maybe next week, like the 7th, 8th, or 9th. Peter's got to check his calendar, and we got to check it out. But I feel very confident that John has stepped up to the plate and got everything done. And this water issue, the water company's been there. We've been back and forth. I think we've located where the issue's at. They'll be on site Thursday. And so we feel very confident that that's taken care of. So we're ready to move forward. So we'll entertain those items as you want to go through them.
Okay.
Ms. Donna?
So next, we have consideration of approval of pay application number 15 and associated direct purchase orders.
Peter, this is for work that has been completed at this time.
Yes, and I think the total is somewhere around $39,000 for this particular payout. This is not the final payout.
39,536.56.
Correct. And we do recommend approval.
And so do I.
Do we have a motion to approve pay application number 15? Tammy Hardy makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Miss Carrie Smallwood makes a second. I'd like to call for a vote at this time. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So we're moving right along to payout number 16.
Again, this is the closeout payment, and it is the retainage that's due to contractor as soon as we sign off that everything has been done. It is for $125,100. And again, the recommended motion from Ross Tarrant and myself would be that you go ahead and approve this payment with the understanding the check will be held until we have that post-meeting with the contractor next week.
So we have, do we have a motion for payout number 16?
I make the motion.
I would like to make that motion.
I second.
This has been a long project, so I make that motion happily. So do we have a vote? Sheila seconded, so I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
And that closes out that project, which brings us to the BG4.
Okay.
ADE form that closes out the project, and you all can take a look at the form. It just sort of gives you the financials on the project, gives you the all of the dates of the inspections that were provided for the building, the date of the certificate of occupancy, all of the general information that you need, that sort of closes out the project. Now, the district has one final form, which is the BG5, which releases finances on the project. But this is the last one that I'll be here for. So, on this.
And Angie will do the BG5 once we have closeout on this BG4. Should happen sometimes, guys. Right now, getting the new school year started, trying to get a working budget ready for the September board meeting, and believe it or not, that board meeting will roll around here before we know it. So there's a lot of work to do there. So don't expect the BG5 next month, but it should come sometime around the September, October board meeting. And then as soon as we can close out the ATC, we'll close out that entire bond series, and we'll be able to close out the entire thing for our auditors. The one thing that would do, the recommended motion is that you approve this BG4 pending the final approval of the architect releasing the project. And that needs to make sure it's read that way in the minutes. Miss Rebecca, the BG4 is being approved pending the final approval or sign off by the architect. And again, that's for us to have that meeting next week. So that's our motion.
Okay, do I have a motion? Okay, Tammy Hardy, do we have a second?
Second.
Carrie Smallwood makes a second. I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I'll report back to y'all in the last meeting, the next meeting, and then we can remove the bus garage from the agenda after that, Rebecca. It'll be, and well, I guess we would have to bring back a BG5 later on, but we won't be having bus garage discussions from now on.
Okay, so we're moving along to the high school renovations project and phase 7 of the renovation. Peter, give us an update.
I don't believe there are any action items tonight on this particular project, but I do know that all of the bidding information and the contract information is currently being reviewed at KDE. Kenny Davis sent out invitations for the pre-construction meeting, which is going to happen on Wednesday, July 14th. So this project is moving right along. I do know Codell, Jeremy probably should answer better, but I do know Codell is ready to get started. And for those of you that may or may not remember, the baseball, softball venues are going to be the big kickoff for that particular project. And so, again, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have on it, but we're sort of just waiting for the project to gear up. And the good news, the really good news for you all is that several of the folks that are working on the ATC building are going to be able to migrate right on over to the high school project, which is really...
That works good because they're already mobilized here.
Exactly.
So that works good.
Equipment's here.
I think the major players, except for the mechanical contractor, is the same.
Correct.
It's the Verizon Sun is the general contractor, Babcon is the electrician, Carmichael's doing the block laying. I mean, most of the people that's been with us on this project, they're back on this one, so.
So as we move forward with this project, a lot of people have asked me about a timeline, like baseball and softball goes first, when are we getting the gym, when are we getting the football? A lot of people have a lot of questions about that. So will we be able to kind of put a timeline of order out there for people?
Codell will come to every meeting with a full schedule. Now, they're at a point right now where they're sort of working on that schedule.
Right.
And in general, I think we had, the baseball, softball was going to lead off. Then we're going to get down into the football venue and the track and field venue. Don't want to forget anybody. And then the school building, I know, at least originally they were working on maybe being able to work when there were breaks, but the following, the summer of 2022 was going to be a lot when they would be in this building.
I've had a lot of people ask a lot of questions about that, so.
I think in general, it's a little difficult. Right now, the plan is to start August 1st. I'm gonna ask Peter, he's become good friends with John at KDE. I'm gonna ask him to place a couple calls to let them know how important it is that we get started. We've got contractors that's sitting there holding prices and stuff. They need to be able to move on those, even though some items will start back down a little bit, which is good for them. I mean, we've already got a contracted price. It doesn't help us, but if there are items that do go up, they don't want to get stuck on that as well. There's lead time on several items, but I believe in general, the baseball and softball complex is supposed to start August 1st or shortly thereafter. Completion by February 15th, which is the start of the baseball, softball season. Work inside the building itself, there's been a discussion about some work taking place during fall break, some work taking place during Christmas break, and that will all depend on what the lead times are for HVAC equipment and some of those items. The work in terms of the secure entry vestibule will not start until next May when school's out. One good thing about starting early is we need to try to get out as early as we can. And just so everybody will know right now, we may need to delay the start of school next fall for a week or week and a half in order to give them that little bit of extra time, because when we come back next fall, we want to make sure that secure entrance is done, the office area is done, the new nurses station is complete, all the classroom plumbing, all the plumbing in the restrooms, all the classroom renovations are complete. So we may have to give them a little extra time. We'll just have to see. The ideal on football, soccer, tennis, hopefully the tennis courts, it is in the schedule for the tennis courts to be ready for play this coming spring. The football and track and soccer will not be ready, and it will push right up until the season, probably somewhere around August 1st to August 15th.
Of 22.
Of 22. This coming, not this season, but next season. And I will make it very clear, we have a home football game with Powell County week 1, and we have to play on that field. We're not going to Powell County 2 years in a row. We love them. They're a partner on the ATC, but we're not going over there to play 2 years in a row. So I better make sure that we've got everybody on board with that, and I think that date is somewhere around mid-October. I'm sorry, mid-August,
And
excuse
we'll
me.
have our spring sports, football and softball. That'll be ready for spring of 22.
Yes, the baseball, softball,
Yeah.
spring of 22. Tennis will be ready spring of 22. Football, soccer, and track. Track will be on the road. There's just no way around it because it's too integral to the football stadium itself, but it will be ready, football and soccer, for the fall of 22.
And basketball.
The gym could be done at any time based on the availability. The biggest thing going on in the gym is the goals and the HVAC, so it could happen during fall break. Some of it could happen during Christmas. I'm not going to promise everybody because we just don't know what the lead times are on the HVAC equipment. But I would think contractors are already ordering that. I've already signed off on direct purchase orders with all of the contractors, so they're ordering stuff right now. We received all of the insurance information today on the bonding information with the companies. All the companies are bonded. I got that today. So the paperwork is happening. It's just a matter of getting everybody going. And of course, there's some little things that you all know. We've got to address the sidewalk situation as part of the high school renovation project. We pulled the controls out of this project, and we are going to use ESSER funds to do that. So you're going to have a small construction project probably come at you in August.
Whenever you.
You need to let Carrie know. You need to get with CMTA, and I think that we need to come right back in August and go ahead and get that budgeted as part of our ESSER 3 monies. So we'll have that. We talked about all the other items like the track surface, the lighting for the tennis courts, all those things that we can pick up. The other one change order that we will probably need to do, just like we've done at the middle school, once we get into the project, we see that the money's there, we probably need to mill and overlay the entire parking lot. You're already doing the entire back parking lot, all the way out the entrance, but this driveway coming in beside the school and down the front of the building, I think it would be a travesty, since they're already having to dig up half of that driveway in front of the school anyway. And that will happen after school starts as well. Since they're already having to dig it up, I think it would be a travesty not to redo that blacktop. So we've got the money in the project to do it. We'll make it happen. And I think that everybody will be pleased when the time comes. Just a little bit more patience. But it's going to happen.
So we need to approve the contract for special inspections.
Yeah, it is the one thing.
There is one.
Yeah.
And special inspections is important, guys. These are the engineers that are making sure that all of the structural and all of the site-related backfill is happening per the specifications, right? So this is a contractor that you all are employing to make sure that the contractors on site are doing the work that they need to do the right way. So we took 3 bids. I think SNME engineers. We've done a lot of work for you guys with a low bid. I think they came in around $55,000 for the project. A project this size, I feel like that's a really good bid amount. We would recommend approval of that.
So do we have any, ready for?
Yeah, that's my recommendation as well. We've worked with SM&E on several different projects. They're a really good firm. I've worked with them on several projects in the past, so that's my recommendation as well.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
Okay, Sheila Samples makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Tammy Hardy makes a second. I'd like to call for a vote at this time. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
And so you all know that's part of your BG1. It's already in the contract. That's not extra. It's in the project. It's in the $14.3 million project, okay?
Okay. So at this time, do you have anything else for Peter?
I don't think so. You're going to get us an answer on the sidewalk out front, and you'll get us an answer on the floors here as soon as you can.
We'll be in just 4 of us are coming down to punch the building tomorrow, so
Okay.
we'll give my best eyes on it that I can. And we'll take a look at what we
I hate to miss you tomorrow, but I won't be here. I'll be back in tomorrow, Thursday afternoon. I'll be going to Kiwanis Thursday night for their meeting and presentation. So I'll touch base with you maybe Thursday after lunch, if that's okay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And so everybody know the district office is closed Friday in honor of, or in celebration of the 4th of July. So.
Thank you, Peter. Be careful on the
Thank you.
road. Thank you.
Take care. See you later.
Okay, so I need a motion to go into closed session to discuss further business and personnel.
I make the motion.
Okay, Sheila Samples makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay.
Guys, and so you know, there are a couple action items coming out, so will be a little while. The board will need to discuss my evaluation, and then they'll call me in when they're ready to discuss that, and then as soon as we're through, we'll come out of closed session, and they have to take an open vote in open session concerning my evaluation. So we'll leave at this time, and we'll be back hopefully sometime within the next 15 to 30 minutes, okay? Thank you. Mallory, you can go with me.
Alrighty.
paper and it looks like we did that. Well, at the time on the world.
Was that on the floor, did you see that?
I mean, all in there, yeah. Oh,
Every 4 to 8, 6 feet. It's like one of these sections came.
like I was looking at the wall, you know, when I push it down the wall.
Right on the floor here, just. And you got that out here, and you got this here.
Yeah. One was in, one was out, one was in.
Yep. Did it have any tape on it?
I can't remember. It was in the blue bathroom. Yeah, I remember.
Basically, this paper, you just have to write or whatever we stated, and then when we did that to Donna.
You get electronic, whatever you get. Okay. I copy. You might try to find mine.
Yeah, I can do that.
I just mean,
Well, I'm waiting on my t-shirt.
even though I changed it tonight, it's after we did.
I can do that while I'm getting my air conditioner.
Right on computer stuff.
I guess I'm gonna turn this back on.
I know enough to just be done.
So do we not, we don't meet in August, correct? Sheila? We don't meet again till, do we meet next month? And then we don't meet August, but we meet September, or do we meet?
July, August, and September. Doesn't come up unless there's special out.
I mean, but I'm just saying, we still meet through the summer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's,
Year-long job, year-round.
all right, which, so that would be July 15th is the 3rd.
Jeremy, we're still in closed session for just a minute. They've got to go over this with me first.
Oh, I'm sorry, because I want to turn everything back on. You want me to turn the camera away?
Yes, please. Yeah, it's out.
I'm good.
Something different, Sheila.
Because it read before I turned it out.
It's just switchy.
Okay.
I didn't have that much punch and cookies.
I'm ready for supper. What are you talking about?
Oh, I had
Bless your
pizza
heart.
for lunch. And,
It's run away. Yeah, it's out. You need something else now.
I'm going home. We cut a cantaloupe yesterday and we have some fruit. That's what I'm gonna have. I'm gonna have salad and fruit going home.
I'll probably have cereal.
I do that a lot. Eat cereal at night. I love cereal.
What's your favorite kind?
I like Honey Nut Crunch right now.
I like
It
Honey
can be
Nut
with almonds or without. I just got some that was frosted.
My kids are on a Captain Crunch
Well, listen, I
kick
don't
right
know.
now.
If you go to Ollie's, it's $2.20 a box.
Captain
Captain
Crunch.
Crunch, the king size
Yeah.
box. All right, we ready, Jeremy?
All right.
Good
so
deal.
I need a motion to call this session back in order.
I make the motion to come back in session.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. So Sheila and Tammy. All approve?
Approve.
Okay. So now we have our action items. We first of all have our superintendent's evaluation. And I'll go ahead and just, and his professional plan. Do you want me to go ahead and
Yes.
just review over that? So we, as a board, met in closed session and discussed Mr. Saylor's superintendent leadership plan, and he was evaluated on Standard 5 and Standard 7, and we gave him an exemplary evaluation at this time. Next year, we agreed that he would work on Standard 1 and 2. We, as a board, felt like that Mr. Saylor was very hardworking. We felt like that he was working hard for the district and was going above and beyond what was expected of him. He's worked tirelessly on these facility projects that we've had. His leadership and vision for this district has been just second to none. We, as a board, all agreed that we appreciated his hard work. And we look forward to moving these next projects along with the high school and our facility upgrades at the high school, our athletic fields. We're looking forward to the dedication and completion of the ATC, which will be July 23rd. And our bus garage, we just signed the final BG4 for that. And without Mr. Saylor's leadership, we don't feel that any of these projects would have been possible this coming school year, and his leadership plan for this coming year was all on academics and student performance, and we'll be talking more about that as we move along. So for now, thank you for your service, thank you for your hard work in the district, and we look forward to moving things along with this coming school year.
Well, I want to thank you all for that evaluation, and I appreciate the vote of confidence. As I've promised you before, no one will work harder. I will do my very best to fulfill the wishes and desires of this board, because your wishes and desires are the same as mine, and that is to ensure that every kid in our county has the opportunity to do something great in their lives and the lives of others. And you've heard that for the last 6 years. That's been my vision. That's what I focus on. I hope that everybody, I know that there's times that it seems like that things get rough. The pandemic's been rough, but I think we've kept our focus as a board team, and I appreciate that evaluation very much. And I do think, Ms. Ispert, that you all have to go on record with a vote on exemplary evaluation in standards 5 and 7 under that first action item.
Okay, so at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve our superintendent's evaluation on Standard 5 and Standard 7 from this previous year.
I make the motion that we approve those standards.
Okay, I have a motion by Sheila Samples. Do I have a second? I have a second by Tammy Hardy. And I would like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So we are down to the physical therapy contract.
Yes, and there's really no action, I guess, on item B, Rebecca, even though we put it there. I will be bringing the board a growth plan for Standard 1, strategic leadership, and for Standard 2, instructional leadership, and that will be due to you all at the September board meeting. Thank you all again.
Our physical therapy contract.
Yes, we have been able to, we have been seeking a physical therapy group to provide physical therapy for our students that's required to have those services through their IEPs. This is a new group, a new physical therapist, and we felt like that we needed to make a change. We feel really confident that this person has come highly recommended and works in the Clark County school system as well. I know that not Rebecca, but Amanda. Rebecca works hard too, by the way. But Amanda is the person that's done the legwork on this physical therapy contract, and it is my recommendation that we approve this contract.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the contract?
I make the motion.
Shayla Samples makes a motion. Do we have a second? Carrie Smallwood makes a second. I'd like to call for a vote at this time. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving right along to our bank account for the ATC donations.
As we have explored, how do we handle the donations that this community is making in support of the Area Technology Center? There was really two options. We could have had this money deposited in an account at KDE. And the only issue with that is that whenever you're dealing with KDE, there is a lot more red tape than what you would experience than you would if it was in your own school district. So our other option was, as a school district, that we opened a joint account with the ATC for those community donations. As I told you all during the walkthrough today, to date, we have a commitment of $250,000 over the next 5 years. And the way that we'd like to set this up is that the Estill County Board of Education, along with the Area Technology Center itself, would be joint owners of that account. These checks would require two-party signatures, and it would take the signature of the principal and the finance director in order for those funds to be expended, and they're more readily available to the principal at that time. And we have searched this. We believe that this is the best way, and Angie is we're waiting for that approval. I think we've already talked to Citizens Guarantee Bank. The money will be housed there locally, so that we will have access in a quick manner and still provide all the safeguards, because it will run through our finance department. It's not part of Red Book. It's not part of our finances. It's a separate bank account set up for that purpose. So my recommendation is for us to approve that account.
So just so people know, those funds could be used for special equipment that they might need at ATC. It could be used for student tuition or special needs that a student may have. Is there anything else specific that it would be used for?
It's mainly for equipment and materials, especially consumable materials that will be needed on a yearly basis within those programs. The Area Technology Centers they do not receive a ton of money, to be honest. They're on very tight budgets. Once their budget is set, they will be reimbursing the district for the utility cost in that building. There'll be other costs that they'll reimburse the district for in terms of some of the other services that we help provide with them. So by the time they do those things, most of their money's gone, and notoriously they have to raise a lot of money. So it could go to help support students. It's going to Skills USA. which is a huge student organization, or HOSA, which is a huge organization for health sciences. And so it could help students in those areas as well as those clubs raise money. If Mr. Hall chooses, if they want to have separate accounts, they could, but if Mr. Hall chose, he could use that account, and there could be sub-accounts set up within that account, so student fundraisers could be used in that account, and it gives them access to that money. It's almost like a booster's account, in a sense, for the tech center for those purposes. And again, Mr. Hall has to have approval of Ms. Howell in order to write the check, and vice versa. Ms. Hall Ms. Howell, sorry, Ms. Hall, where'd that come from? Corey, I guess. But anyway, if Ms. Howell can't write a check on that account either without his approval. It takes both of their approvals.
Dual control.
So, so you're asking for a motion?
Yes, we would need a motion to set up that account, just so you all know that's community money. I believe we owe the public full disclosure. And what we will do is we will submit a yearly financial report for that money, just like we do our own accounts.
So do we have a motion to set up a bank account for the ATC for the donations from the community? Okay, so we have a motion from Tammy Hardy. Do we have a second? Sheila Samples makes a second. Okay, I'd like to call for a vote at this time. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on our agenda is the KSBA Policy Service. We need approval for the annual update, and this is the second reading of that.
Yes, you all approved this last time. There's been no changes of those policies, but by board policy and regulation, you have to have a second reading of those policies. And my recommendation is we approve those policies that were presented at the June 17th board meeting as approved.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve that?
I make the motion.
Okay. A motion by Sheila Samples. Do we have a second? Carrie Smallwood makes a second. I'd like to call for a vote at this time. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. This brings us down to our consent items. And we have the May bank reconciliation.
You have the reconciliation of the bank account that is in one of your attachments, and you also have the approval of the treasurer's report, which of course is the payment of bills this month. So the main reason we hold this meeting is to try to pay all the bills we can before June 30th. Tomorrow is the last day of the fiscal year for our school board. I know a lot of people in the public don't understand that, but school systems close out on June the 30th. Really, it makes it difficult, to be honest, because really we have three deadlines in the school system. We have June 30th for the state physical closing. We have October 1 is the federal closeouts. And then we always have January 1, which is the rollover of all our W-2s and payroll information. So just one of those things. It's the way it was set up a long time ago. It's what we got to deal with. But with that, my recommendation is to approve those consent items as presented to you all.
And we can do that all in one motion?
All in one motion,
Okay.
yes.
So do I have a motion to approve those consent items?
I make the motion.
Sheila Samples makes a motion. Do we have a second? Tammy Hardy makes a second. I'd like to call for a vote at this time. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. That brings us down to our superintendent's report. Mr. Saylor?
Yeah, just a real quick update. As you all know, we joined the opioid litigation suit here in the state of Kentucky, and as we know that our community, more than any community, has been devastated by the opioid crisis in our community. At one time, Estill County, in terms of per capita, had more drug overdoses than any county in the state of Kentucky.
We still are leading right now.
And we're still leading right now, according to Miss Donna. And that's one area we sure don't want to lead the state in, but unfortunately we do. So we know that a lot of our students have been impacted by this crisis. We have young children that have been born to addicted mothers that have physical and mental issues, and we have a lot of families, and we have a lot of children that are being raised by grandparents because either their parents have passed away or their parents are in jail for opioid abuse. And it is a plague on our society, and we believe that we have very much been impacted by this. There is a proposed settlement. As I've told them right now, I believe that it would be our wishes that we would enter in as part of that settlement. I don't think we would want to foot the legal bills to go this on our own. But there is a settlement out there, and we'll see what happens in the next little bit. But you can read that document and you can see what the proposal is. Also, a piece of good news, and I broke this a little earlier tonight, we did receive notification this week that the Still Reese Foundation has awarded this school district another $40,000 for the implementation of a STEAM program. And for anybody that does not know what STEAM is, it is STEM with the arts and humanities added as part of that program. So there's a big push to make sure that not only we're dealing with science, math, and technology, but also the arts. We have a lot of kids. As we know, our band program is huge in this district, and it's a proven fact that kids that are interested in music do a lot better in math and science. The two go together. So if we can implement programs that can begin that tie together in early years, then hopefully that will only make things better as we move forward with those kids as they become a high school graduate, in terms of our new strategic plan that will be focused on what is the portrait of an Estill County High School graduate. What does that person look like? And hopefully this program will help lead to that. Miss Tanya Miller and Teresa, and I think Charlotte had a hand in writing this grant, and we were awarded the full amount of $40,000. So this is the second time in 3 years we've received this grant, and we're very appreciative of the Still Reese Foundation and thankful for them. And that's my report tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Saylor. We're down to the board member forum. Does anybody have anything that they would like to discuss or bring to attention of everyone?
They need to pass by the high school and see all the clearing of the land and how good it's looking out there. Once it gets seeded, it'll be looking even
Yeah, so what
better.
Ms. Sheila's referring to is we had excavation company come in and take down a lot of the trees and underbrush and some of the old fencing in front of the high school and try to make some improvements so you could actually see the buildings. And so it looks really good.
If we're going to spend $15 million on a building, the public needs to be
showcase
able
it.
to see it.
Yeah.
And as we discussed earlier tonight, we'll get a company in here to hydroseed that, and our goal is to, once we start moving topsoil off that football field, we'll cover up the parking lot that's there, and that will all be in grass, and we'll be able to cut that with a mower and keep it clean. And we'll be able to see the new tech center. And as soon as the equipment moves on the other side where the middle school's at, we'll remove those pines and stuff as well. That middle school's a beautiful school. People need to be able to see it. They can't see it from the road, so we'll open it up as well. So we'll do that sometime in the fall, maybe next spring when we have the ability to do it. But thank you for noticing. It was well worth the money to do that as part of the construction project on the ATC.
And does anybody have anything else? I guess just in closing, I would just like to say on behalf of the board, just what a wonderful night that it was to be able to celebrate our retirees. And we just wish them all the best, and we appreciate their service, and it was a wonderful evening. And the walkthrough, the ATC really fills us all with pride and excitement, and we're looking forward to things to come. And as far as Mr. Saylor, we appreciate you, and we look forward to this coming year and this coming school year as we close out this school year on June 30th. we look forward to a new year coming, and we want to be back to normal, and we're excited for that.
That's our goal, to be back to normal with everybody in full attendance come August the 5th. And I appreciate you all. Nothing is possible without a good board team, and I appreciate the effort that all of us put together to make sure that our kids have the best of everything. So I appreciate you all as well, and it's a pleasure to work in this school system. It's the highlight of my career to be here in Estill County, and there's no other place I would rather be. So thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
So at this time, I need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I make the motion, we adjourn.
Sheila makes a motion, Tammy seconds, and I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Good night, everyone.
Thank you all.